All right, welcome everybody to our Volusion training today. So today's training is going to be dedicated to those of you who are already making sales. You're getting orders on a fairly regular basis. And the question you've got for me right now is, okay, well, how do I keep track of these orders that are coming in? How do I organize them? How does that relate to, my end of year taxes and although this isn't going to be a tax discussion, it is going to be a discussion about organization, so you are prepared um, to give an accounting for your business at the end of the year. And we're just going to talk about organization of those reports within Volusion and without. So hopefully this is helpful. Short, shouldn't be an overly long session, so work with me here for a minute, and hopefully this directs you a little bit on your organization. Okay, so first of all, sales are obviously our goal here, and if you are closing a bunch of sales, congratulations, that's great. You'll notice in Volusion that a couple things should be happening when you're getting sales. Okay, so where I am right now, I'm on a dashboard. You can see this under settings and company. I won't go there right now, but settings and company, you should have an email address in the company section so that orders or you're being notified when orders are made, because there's a spot there for order notifications. So make sure you have a valid email there. Every time an order gets placed, it's nice to be notified of it, and you'll want to make sure you've got an email there. All right. Now, what happens to orders when they get placed? Under orders and process orders, they're going to show right here. Now, on this account, I've got a couple of orders here that are showing. Orders placed in July. And as orders come in, this process orders section will populate. And you'll notice here, each order has an identification number. This is order 1, that's order 2, so on and so forth. You can click that identification order number to get more information about the order, okay? So these orders they're going to stay here until you do something about them, naturally, right? And this should be a place that you kind of keep organized. If you've got orders that are waiting to be fulfilled or that you haven't handled yet, this is a good place to keep them. And then when you're done, you've shipped the order, you've placed the order with your supplier and it's being shipped, you can change the order status. And order status is located right over here. Okay? You can change that to sort of clean up this area a little bit. All right? So what do I mean by that? Well, let's do an example. So let's take this first order here by this Dan Guess of Ohio. Okay, they ordered something for $82.95. And actually, you know what? Well, I'll change this in a second. Forget about what I just said there. So let's go click on number 1. Okay, the order number. That takes us here to more information about Dan Guess here. Now, for privacy's sake, this is actually not a real order. So if you guys are looking at his address and phone number and email, this is fake information. But you'll notice you've got billing information and you've also got shipping information. You've got a fraud score, which I don't need you to pay a lot of attention to. It's one of Volusion's ways of showing the likelihood of this being fraud, and this is showing as moderate risk. I don't know. I'm not sold on how accurate this is, so I'd encourage you probably not to really look at the fraud score too much. You've got the order total, and then as you scroll down on this page, you can get more information about it. The details of the order right here, what they bought in particular, and how much they paid. You can add in tracking information here from your supplier. You can see what the situation with the payment is there, whether you've been paid or not. Although I will encourage most of you, whether you have a merchant account or you're using PayPal, before you fulfill any of these orders, make sure that money is actually sitting in your bank account, whether it be a checking account or a PayPal account or a business checking account. Don't fulfill the order until the money's there, just to be sure. Even though it shows up here as paid, you want to just verify that it's there. That's just good common practice, because there are scammers out there that'll try to place fake orders, and that's one way that you can prevent it. So anyway, so let's say I have fulfilled this order, right? Well, here's where you change the status that I was referring to earlier. That's the status section right there, okay? So right now this is at awaiting payment. Let's assume for a minute that, you know, I've placed the order, right? So I could change it to processing as the current status if I wanted to, okay? And then once that order is done, I could change that to shipped. Okay, and it'll actually put a date there for when it's shipped, and then when I go back here to process orders on the main section here, so orders and then process orders. I guess I got to go. Hold on, let me go back to the dashboard real quick. I need to get back to the summary page. There we go. So now I'm back on the summary page here. And sorry, I probably should have showed you how I did that. So you click on the order ID. We're here, right, on the order ID section. If I want to go back to the summary page, it's this little icon right here that you can click on, okay? So, and then it'll just show up here as shipped, okay? So if you like that so first of all, I guess before I should continue on, there's no right way to do this, right? This is just for your own organizational needs. Some of you guys are going to be incredibly organized, others won't be as much. The important thing is that are all of your customers getting fulfilled quickly, and can you keep track of that, right? And that's what this section is for. You could change this, and this is typically what I'll do because I like to sort of eliminate it from that list. A lot of times I'll change the status to, where is it? I don't see it here. Well, by the way, cancel order. You guys will use this a little bit if it's a fake order. And by the way, you're going to get a few fake orders. I'd mentioned that earlier. I've got a client that I've worked with now for probably 6 months, and in the course of those 6 months, they've had something close to 10 fake orders coming through. And they know those orders are fake because when they look at the contact information and some of the details that are put in from the buyer, they look a little suspect. And then on top of that, when they check to make sure the money has actually been paid, it has not. So that's how you can know that an order is fake or not. 99.9% of people who place an order, they're going to pay if they're legit, and if they're not going to pay. It's really as simple as that. Okay. So anyway, you can decide how you want to do the statuses here. I like to leave it in new if it's not something I've done anything with. Sometimes I'll use processing if I'm currently ordering it with the supplier and waiting to get tracking information, and then finish it up with shipped if everything's completed. And that's that. Yeah, the customers don't see this, Susan. This is really just for our own internal uses, okay? And just keeping things organized. So, okay, so let's go process orders again. You can also select this order complete. I should take this red off and let's circle this section right here, order complete. My Volusion's running a little slowly. Let me erase that. Okay. And I can head back over to the dashboard section of my orders, okay? This one right here is still status awaiting payment, and that's the typical status you're going to see if you haven't been paid. And we could do the same thing here. Maybe we go in here and let's maybe change this to processing maybe. So we'll select processing. Assuming maybe I placed the order with my supplier. So what's nice is it kind of stays organized. Right now it's no big deal, but that's an important status because over time you're going to have rows and rows and rows and rows of these orders. and you're definitely going to want to keep track of them. Now, the nice thing is, guys, you can export these, and likely that's what you're going to do. Maybe even on a monthly basis, you're going to come in here and export these results, and you can export them out to some type of Excel document or a Google Sheets document. I'm just going to go ahead and hit export here. And we're going to do this to like a CSV. And we're going to export, and that'll export this out into a spreadsheet so I can manage it there. And that's a question that I've gotten from a few of you recently. It's like, okay, well, is there a way that I can quickly see all this information? Because Volusion, for as good as it is, doesn't have the best infrastructure here for keeping track of orders in a way that you can visualize it and see it all at once. It's better exported out into Excel and manage there a little bit if you're familiar with spreadsheets and Excel. So you can export all of this out, which is nice. And if you're looking for organization, like in terms of daily orders, I'll tell you what I do. I'll do an export like this, and then I'll create a document within Google Sheets. How many of you guys actually use Google Sheets on a regular basis, or Excel for that matter? I like Google Sheets, and I'm going to bring over a Google Sheet document that I just opened up. You can call this, sales tracker if you want, or name it whatever you want for that matter. But I can create tabs here down at the bottom. Okay, this is going to be, we'll call this August 2017. We could create another tab and call this whatever, September 2017. So you can create these different tabs here at the bottom for your sales. And then you can come in here and do, order ID, customer name, product ordered, price, taxable, something like that. You can create these columns here. And you're probably going to want to have a date column right here. I know I'm going kind of fast. This is definitely not a Google Sheets training, but I'm just showing you kind of real quickly what you could do. Right, just quick spreadsheet. Right, and so as your orders come in, with this being August, you can put in 8/2/17, or this is order ID 54, customer name, right? And you sort of keep a tally all month long of your orders. And I actually prefer to do this by hand, although you could export out the results and then sort of copy and paste them into your own spreadsheet document. XYZ product, the price was $89.99, taxable no. We'll talk about taxes here in just a second, and so on and so forth. And so, as the month goes by, I'm adding, more and more orders. Right? And this is just to help me kind of keep track of things. Right, so on and so forth. And then I could have a total section here at the bottom. And if you're good at Excel, you're going to know how to create some some formatting or whatever that will automatically add this stuff up. Right. So anyway, I'm going kind of fast here. This is not a spreadsheet training, but what this is one way to kind of keep things organized. And then every single day, and you should do this. I mean, if you own an e-commerce business and it's booming the way you want it to be, you're probably closing sales on a daily basis. So you're taking 30 minutes a day, or whatever it takes you, depending on the number of sales you're getting, and you're going into your Volusion, and you're checking your orders and process orders, and you're seeing the new ones that are coming in. And all the ones that have been paid, you're processing those. You're placing those orders with your supplier. And as that's happening, you're also adding those same orders onto your official sales tracker or whatever that is. Like, you could do it by hand if you're not comfortable doing it, online or on a spreadsheet. You could do it in a Word document. The point is, you just got to keep track of it. This is one way to do it. And as you keep track of it all year long, you should be able to show, information per month about every sale that's come in and how much you've sold. And then that makes counting at the end of the year pretty easy because you can add all that up over the course of the 12 months and show that you did $45,000 in sales, and you can see which products are selling the best. You can use a lot of this data to analyze the business. Taxes is another concern, and it should be, because in most cases the rule is with your state that you have to charge sales tax and collect sales tax to people who live where your business is based. Okay, so I'm in Utah. If I sell something to somebody living in Utah, I should be collecting sales tax and reporting that to the state. Now, we've got sales tax trainings on how to set that up. You can come into your Volusion and come over here to settings and tax, and I could set it up to where anybody living in the state of Utah, when they go and order something from me on the order page within Volusion, if they put in a Utah state shipping address, it's then going to charge them whatever 8.25% sales tax. And when that order comes into me, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go here to process orders, and I'm going to see that it's a Utah order. I want to look out for those because I know that I've collected extra tax on that and I need to keep track of it. So here it's going to show me. Now, by default, you guys probably aren't getting this to show up on process orders. That's something I added in myself. I added this column called billing state. And I'll show you how I did that. Real easy. Come up here to the top right where these three white dots are. Or I'm sorry, these three black dots. And you click on that and you can go customize columns. And you can actually change the general look of what you're seeing here. You can show, 500 results per page on this page that we're looking at. You can do 25 per page. You can change how many display, font size. And then I selected this right here. I know this is real small, but I'll circle it so you can see it, billing state. And why I did that is so that I can just quickly look out for anybody within Utah who's purchased from me. I'll see Utah there, and I can make sure I keep a record. Wherever it is I keep a record, in this example here, I'll have like a taxable yes, and then I can show the amount that was taxed. You could have another column here that's amount taxed, and maybe that's, 1543 that was taxed for Utah. And then over the course of the month, I don't know the laws where you live, but it might be a monthly check. You write the state of Utah or the state of Texas or the state of Louisiana, wherever you are, and you can write that check and then be caught up on your sales tax. Again, this shouldn't concern you too much because there's 50 states. You're only going to be charging sales tax in one. So, most of the time, depending on where you live, if you live in a big state, you might deal with this a little bit more often. But, I'm in Utah. There's a population of something like 3 million people here out of the X number of million in the United States. It's not a big percentage of my sales that this has to be done. But it's pretty well automated. And I can quickly find it and quickly be able to produce a report to show my state, my sales and my taxable sales, so that I can be current on sales tax. Okay. So I don't think there's anything. I'm just checking my my list here. Yeah, I think that about covers it. I mean, this will come alive to you if you're making sales. I think a lot of you guys are making sales, maybe not enough to where this is organizationally it's a nightmare. It's not yet for you, but if you're closing 10, 15 sales a day, and you don't have a system in place, that can get out of hand in a hurry, and that's a good thing. Obviously, we're here to close sales. You just want to be organized about it, because if you've ever dealt with taxes toward the end of the year, remember, you have to accurately report what you've done in revenue, what your expenses have been. You have to make sure you've been, writing a check to the state for sales tax if you're collecting any, right? These are things you should stay up on. And if you've got a nice digital report here in Google Sheets, like I showed you, organized by, you could organize it by tabs like I did, and just kind of keep track of things that way. You do this on a monthly basis, and then it's really no big deal to keep up on. You can do both, Susan. You can put that tracking number there in Volusion, and that actually updates it on their account when they log into their Volusion account. So you can email them and say, hey, check your account within the site to see your tracking number. A lot of times I like to proactively email them and stay in touch with them, and it just, you want to give them, I don't know, just a sense of that you care and that they're important, and that's a good way to do it. It won't remove it from Volusion, Bernice, when you export. No, it'll all still be there. When you're exporting all that data, you're basically saying, give it all to me in one file format, but don't remove it from the system. So you're just duplicating it. You're copying and putting it in a different format. Yeah, good question. Well, and the export really is everything. Like, it's always going to show the date. So I'll always export everything out, and it'll have the dates there. You can customize your export a little bit, but I won't show that right now. It's not a big deal to export everything and then see the dates, because the dates will always be there, and then you can kind of pick and choose out of the data you export what you need. So that makes it easy. So anyway, guys, I hope all of you get here soon. And for those of you guys who are here and you're busy processing orders, I hope this was helpful. There's no right answers here. I've never pretended to be the most organized person when it comes to this kind of stuff. My wife's far better at just staying organized and having systems. I'm good at making the sales and the marketing, but the organization part's not my strong point. Volusion has enough in it to help me with that, and then by taking it a step further and maybe having some of your own documents, you can really stay on top of it. So anyway, hopefully that was helpful to you guys. We'll do some more Volusion next week, a little more Volusion training, same time on Wednesday, and we will see you all there. Thanks again.